Okay, guys, we are going to solve this today. We are going to work on using completing the square method to solve a quadratic equation. Now, the thing that you really like to know is that many of the times what we use completing the square method to solve can be solved with factorization method. But sometimes examination bodies emphasizes the method to use, so you have to know all the methods. All right, it's not something you should run away from. And of course, this completing the square method is springing from the previous lesson I did that has to do with making a quadratic expression a perfect square. All right, so what we have here right now is a quadratic equation, but we are going to solve this using completing the square method. So let's start with the first one. How do we go now? So you have to pay attention to this method and practice. Okay, that's what makes you good. And please don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us. Yeah, good. So let's proceed. We have x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals what? 0. Okay, so what we would like to do, the first step, is to rearrange. Okay, I think I should be writing the steps for you. Rearrange. I have this tiny flea that is just flying around. So rearrangement, we are going to have x squared minus 2x equals 3. Okay, now I talked to you about making a quadratic expression a perfect square. So we are going to make the left hand side a perfect square, make the expression a perfect square. So if we are going to do that, I think I'll come to this side of the board. We are going to do that. Remember how we make a quadratic expression a perfect square? We do that by saying x squared, like we have x squared minus 2x equals 3. We are going to take the, let me make this bolder, equals 3. We are going to take the coefficient of x here, which is minus 2, and we divide it by 2. Remember, we take the coefficient of x square of x here, which is minus 2, divide it by 2, square it and add it. Alright, so the statement is add the square of half the coefficient of x to both sides. So add the square of half the coefficient of x to both sides. That's how to make the expression a perfect square. So what do we do now? We are now going to say x squared minus 2x, this half the coefficient of x is going to be what? Minus 1. So we have minus 2x, then plus, we are adding something, right? We are adding minus 1 squared. How did I get this minus 1? Listen, I got it from minus 2 divided by 2 is minus 1, right? And then that's half of the coefficient of x. And then I'm also squaring it. So after squaring it, I added it to this equation. But because it's an equation, I'm going to add it to both sides. In our expression, I didn't need to add it to both sides. But this is an equation. Whatever I do to the left-hand side, I must do to the right-hand side. So I'll have 3 plus minus 1 squared. Now, remember that once I have added this to this, okay, this becomes a perfect square. All right, this left hand, oh sorry, there's a mistake here, this is equal to, this left hand side becomes what? A perfect square. Now what does it mean for it to be a perfect square? It means that this is simply x minus 1 times x minus 1. X minus 1 times x minus 1 will give us the whole of this here, because we've made it a perfect square. Please, if you have not seen the video on making a quadratic equation a perfect square, you need to see it, because that's where this is coming from. Okay, so this will be equal to 3 plus minus 1 squared is minus 1 times minus 1, which is what? 1. Good. So that's what we have. But here now, this is a perfect square, x minus 1, x minus 1. So we can rewrite this as x minus 1 squared. Can you see that? So we can write this as x minus 1 squared equals to what? 3 plus 1, which is what? 4. Alright, so the next thing is to take square root of both sides. Take the square root of both sides. So I told you the square root of this x minus 1 squared is just going to be what? X minus 1. And the square root of 4 is going to be what? 2. Alright, okay, but let me do it this way. X minus 1 squared equals to square root of 4. We are taking square root of both sides, right? Square root of this will be what? X minus 1. Square root of 4 is going to be plus minus 2. Can you see that? So that means we are now going to have, but remember we are looking for x, right? So this is going to become x equals minus 1 crosses over, we'll have 1 plus minus 2. Alright? Remember, square root of 4 is plus minus 2. It can be plus 2, it can be minus 2, because plus 2 times plus 2 gives you 4, minus 2 times minus 2 gives you 4 as well. Good. So this is now going to become x equals, let me draw a line here to divide this. So this becomes x equals 1 plus 2 or 1 minus 2. So if x is equal to 1 plus 2, we are going to have 3. And if x is equal to 1 minus 2, we are going to have minus 1. Alright, so this is the solution of this quadratic equation using completing the square method. Tell me in the comment section if this is simpler compared to the factorization method. And if you have any questions, you can put it in the comment section too. I'll be able to answer it. So this is basically it, alright? Yeah, so we're good to go. We'll do the next example in the next video. And please don't forget to like and subscribe. Just check out the immediate next video of after this one. You're going to see the solution for this. Alright, thank you guys. Thank you for the love. I appreciate all you guys have been doing for me. Let's keep this ball rolling. Thank you.